Hey y'all, I'm James Wright. Welcome to my shop. So what are you supposed to do if your mortise is, well, loose and wiggly? Let's find out. So this mortise is a bit gappy and it's got chunks taken out of it. And because of that, there's a pretty large gap in there and it's not gonna glue up very well. Now yes, you could use epoxy, which is actually very good at gap filling, or you can even fill it with some other media that makes it even better at gap filling. But epoxy is epoxy. If you're gonna do that, you might as well make a river table. Now don't get me wrong, PVA is really good at gap filling. It is way better than high glue, which is head and shoulders above poly, like Gorilla Glue. No, honestly, if you have gaps, do not use expanding poly glue, like Gorilla Glue. It is horrible on gaps. When it expands, it actually creates a bubble texture and then it sheds easily. And it does not hold together in gaps. I absolutely hate when I hear that one because no, Gorilla Glue is not good for gaps. But out of all of those, the best thing you can do is actually to use wood to fill the gap. And if your joints end up having a lot of gaps, that's usually the best thing to do. Find some wood you can put in there to fill the gaps. I'm gonna show you a couple different methods today. Let's start here with this tenon. Now one of the best things you can do is if it goes together and you can see that it's evenly thick, but it is thinner than it needs to be, what you can do is actually glue in some veneer. In this case, I can put it in here and see, does it fit in there? And that's actually a really nice tight fit on that veneer in that slot. So a single layer of veneer will get me close. You can actually put on 2 or 3 and glue them up. If you're getting more than 2 or 3 though, you might as well just glue on a whole new piece and scab that down. The nice thing about store-bought veneer is I can actually cut it with scissors. So we can take this to town and slice it into something that will fit in here. In this case, it needs to be 45. So I'm actually gonna lay it out here and give myself a nice line to follow. Then I can bring those scissors in and slice it up. Now yes, let's address the elephant in the room. The veneer I have is maple, and the wood I'm working with is white oak. So why am I putting these two together? Because I don't have any white oak veneer. If I had that, I'd put it in there. This will actually work perfectly fine because in the end, this joint won't be showing, so this worked great. For this application, I'm gonna need some wood to back it and actually give an even pressure down to that. Because I'm gonna be using a PVA. PVA needs a good bit of pressure in order for it to reach its full strength. And I don't want glue squeezing out all over the place, so I'm actually gonna put in a little bit of tape in here so that when it does squeeze out, it goes into what I've already got on there. And I can use this board to work that tape down tight into the corner. To apply the glue, we can lift up the flap, slather it to high ends, make sure that the glue doesn't come out the sides. We want it to look pretty like, right? And then I'm gonna put this flap down, work it down in. I wanna make sure that I'm actually getting glue on all surfaces of this. So I've got good clean glue on everything except for that little corner over there. So let's make sure we work some down over there. Then we can bring in that piece of wood, slide it back in, and clamp it down. I love using hand screw clamps. They are just phenomenal at getting that pressure deep into something. And it's very important to make sure you never go underboard. You must always, always, always go overboard. Never ever settle for one when 2 of them will do. Accidents often provide nice little breaks in the project, so you can set it aside and come back tomorrow. And now that we've waited the correct allotment of time, we can take it apart. Use a block plane to clean it up. Make sure it's nice and smooth on that inside joint. And then take it for a test drive and oof-da! Yeah, that's what I look at. That's what I want. Nice and tight. That's the way the joint should be. So now we can actually glue that up, clamp it, and have a really nice clean joint. When it comes to dovetails though, we don't always have that option. In this case, I've got a pretty heavy gap in here, and it's just along the top. This side's pretty tight down here, but I need to fill this in. All of these other joints will actually close up very, very nicely when it clamps up, but that one will still be obvious. The beautiful thing is though, we've got end grain here, and end grain is easy to match. The face grain, if I'm ever trying to match this grain, it would show it up instantly, but because I have some end grain, I can make it look like I'm just going to extend this pin into that gap. And we got these little blocks left over from when we actually cut out the tails and pins. From the exact same wood, we can put that in there. Gonna start with a chisel, go back in an 1/8 inch or so, and chop it down and see if the grain splits out. In this case, the grain is pretty straight, so I don't need to worry about it, but I want to make it kind of come to a bit of an angle on here. So on the next one, I'm going to come even closer to the edge, light taps, and then cause it to split out. And now I've got this that comes to a 0 edge back into something a little fatter. Here's a look at it. You can see how it's a feather edge right there. And then from the side, it becomes into something fatter. And that's all we need. Once it comes time for the glue up, and I've smeared glue in there, then I can get this in place and then lightly tap it down in. I don't need it to go in far, just about that far. As long as I can see in this, it's filled that gap. And now when I come off and smooth it all and get ready for the final finish, this will show end grain right next to the pin. The problem with all of that is you have to ask yourself, do I really need to fill that? Do I need this gap to disappear? And if you do it right and you spend your time and you really practice it and you get good at it, you can make just about any gap disappear. But do you need to? Generally, I say no. Even with that gap, this joint will be completely functional. I don't need to fill it to make this gap stronger. Putting that shim in just makes me feel good, and it makes me think that other people won't notice my gaps. But let me let you in on a little secret. No one else is ever going to see your gaps. You're the one who will notice them. And honestly, you're filling them for yourself, not for other people, because unless they are someone who's really inspecting your work and putting you to the test, no one's going to ever notice those little gaps. And that's the very reason why you should never point out your gaps. For some reason, we as woodworkers kind of, oh no, I've got a few gaps in my work. It's not absolutely perfect. And we don't want to show it off because other people are going to see that and they're going to judge us. And most people are going to look at it and say, wow, you made that by yourself? That's cool. And no one is ever going to notice them. All that being said, yes, there are times when I fill gaps. There are some times when the gaps are so big and such a void that it won't glue up well and the gap won't work out well. And in that case, then I fix it. But most of the time, I just let it go because I want to see my progress. I want to see how I've changed over time. And I've gotten better and better. But I've also gotten better at looking for those little problems. And the smaller the problems are, the more they annoy me. And that's not a problem with my woodworking. That's a problem with me. So yeah, I try to let gaps be a teaching moment for me. Not how to make things better, but a chance for me to just let it go and become a better person. And that's why I'm going to be announcing I'm going offline for the next year. I'm taking a gap year. So I hope you like that. Do you have any questions? No, let's just leave it at that. Why do I ever do that? Yeah, gap year. I'm looking for a man to stand in the gap.